Final Four is laden with hurdles, and one of them is right in front of them today. The defending champions, the FEU Tamaraws, hot on their own 3-game winning streak. UP will need energy and firepower and the support of their fans to match the defending champions and start this difficult road trip, because ahead of them they still got Ateneo and LaSalle.
Oh yes, what a game we're going to be covering, Steph. I'm very fortunate. I'm doing this game with you. This is a game that UP, well, last game that we covered, that UP lost to FEU, and both campuses very much alive here.
Absolutely.
Steph. Very much alive. I'm looking over the camp of UP. You've got administrators, everybody. Same goes to the FEU.
Oh yes, the UP campus suddenly alive and interested in their feat of their team. Now take a look at the team standings and you will understand that UP does have a chance, especially when you consider that fourth spot.
Oh yes, and about 2 weeks ago, you don't see UP up there. They may be second to the Bulldogs in the standings, but a win here by UP will bridge them the rest of the tournament with the top four, because they'll just be one win away from the UE Red Warriors, so they need to keep that fire alive. While for FEU, well, a win today, Seb, will bring them over Ateneo and become the #1 team today.
Absolutely. Ateneo and FEU are interested in gaining that twice-to-beat advantage. That's why they continue to fire away. That's why we like the format of the UAAP. Head-to-head, as you take a look at the numbers, there are some areas where UP will really have to work.
Actually, 4 out of 5 belongs to the FEU Tamaraws, only in field goal shooting, where you will find the Maroons ahead over the FEU Tamaraws. So FEU definitely would have the advantage. They have a better record, and they've been playing very well together in this tournament.
Last time around, it was very close. 63-56 was the winning score of the FEU Tamaraws. That score tells you also that it was quite close. Mark Isip was a big man for the Tamaraws.
Oh yes, he was very consistent. Lennox Miranda, 9 assists. He hit a big jumper. And I think in that game, Seb, UP was just one big man away from winning that ball game. And, and I saw Kenneth Robin. Maybe he's the missing link on the part of UP to be able to, stand toe-to-toe at the end of the ball game against FEU.
And when you talk about the UP Maroons, so many of their players playing extremely well, especially when you consider that 3 of their big guns will be graduating at the end of this school year.
So it's really a big effort on the part of Toti Almeida, Abby Santos, and Jusan Cervantes. So we won't see them again next year. So I guess they're just giving everything that they've got. 4 playing Nestor David to complete the 4 for UP. What's interesting here, Steph, is that these players play different positions. So, we're on the floor, you have to spread your defense, because all 4 are averaging, well, at least all 4, close to double digits. Jusan Cervantes just 0.5 away from hitting double digits every ball game.
And when you shift your attention to the FEU Tamaraws, they're not the same team that won the title last year, but they are happy because Lennox Miranda has been steady at the point. Ronnie Magsanok and many are just gushing over the improvement, especially when you guys have covered him over the last couple of years. He's improved in almost every department.
Well, Miranda right. Quite interesting. I'm not really a law student. Maybe a Miranda doctrine, they call it. But
you would have made a great law professor, my friend, and we'll try to avoid the title. But Miranda just simply spectacular this season.
Well, yes, he's setting the standard for point guards in terms of consistency, averaging in double-double, almost with assists and points, but great control for this young man.
Okay, 2 teams unbeaten so far in the second round. Coy Banalas a lot on his mind, but you can expect that Lito Vergara will also have a lot on his mind as the UP Fighting Maroons take on the defending champions of the UAAP, the FEU Tamaraws.
6 feet, Toti Almeida. Center number 18, standing 6'4", Abby Santos. Forward number 13, standing 6'3", Jusan Cervantes. And the other forward, number 15, standing 6'3", Nestor David. And their head coach, Lito Vergara. Starting for the FEU Tamaraws.
Take a look at our Nescafe starting lineup. It's a truly good game. It's coming up. Now, we've been oriented. I think the Miranda rights refer to you have the right to remain silent, the right to get a lawyer.
Case of a felony. So...
before everybody starts texting in again.
Yep, and well, I'm just so glad that that hasn't been read to us yet.
Yes, I don't intend to listen to that. In the meantime, we are underway as Buenaventura, Estrada, and Certeza are the gentlemen with the whistles. UP, what a run they've had. Lito Vergara was quoted as saying, okay, we may not make it to the Final Four, but let's just collect as many wins as possible. Let's make our entire UP system enjoy the season. But I'm sure they have their sights on that, you know. They have their sights on that because it suddenly became possible with the way Adamson has been slipping up.
And same with USD. And, you know, and really we focused on, you have to keep in step with UE, and they're ready to still good.
Adamson has lost 6 games already. They're at 4-6. USD is definitely struggling. Has yet to win in the second round.
For UP, they haven't lost in the second round. They've got some very big wins.
Cervantes, 40 to the inside, and it's played by Santos, but Cervantes had the arm of Santos.
Well, that's going to be number 1 on Cervantes in the first foul of the ball game. Well, UP is really a resurrected team. After losing 6 straight, they picked it up against NU, and then so far, they have not looked back.
In the second round, after that win against NU, they've won against USD, they've won against UE, and against Adamson. One of the main factors, of course, has been the exciting play of Toki Almeida. Ferrer goes to Santos. Yabut is on him, gets a piece of it, but there's arm contact.
Yeah, that's number 1 on Yabut, and that's going to send Abby Santos to the free throw line.
And we've got somebody to send it to, and that's Jam Alindogan, who will tell us all about the Tamaraws.
Sev might be considered late, but the FEU Tamaraws just had their team building last weekend. According to Coach Coy, their team focused on the intangibles, such as the team's camaraderie and communication. He said one of the purpose of the trip is to actually make the team much more stronger when it comes to unity and toughness. He said that the players have been working so hard, and this trip gave them the opportunity to have some rest and recreation. This would also be considered a fresh start for the team. Back to Sev and Randy.
Thanks a lot. Randy, you're an org-com kind of guy, behavior guy, and you study this. How does that actually help in the context of basketball as that basketball is played?
So especially if it's an activity-based team building session that you're going to put up on. It clarifies certain roles that you have to play when you have a communication-based program for you. So you try to clear up what roles you have to play at this point in the system, what other objectives that you have to achieve going to this date in this tournament.
I think this 2 hours we will spend together will not be enough for you to talk about the entirety of team building, but better late than never, Sam. In the meantime, back to basketball as UP surges ahead early on to the delight of the fans in maroon.
And I guess Ferrer will be given the Miranda right after bringing down Den of Miranda for his first personal.
Don't start Randy with anything like that, I tell you. In the meantime, great feed inside, great pass, and that Pula's Ice assist brought to you by Nescafe Ice. Do the move. By the way, earlier today, UE winning against NU 67 to 14-5. Tournament heating up. We did not have games last Thursday, and I think that's crucial, especially in the context of the team standings, and Miranda penetrates with an elbow foul.
Yep, and is this really going to be a problem? Ferrer picking up his second consecutive foul. 3 team fouls for UP, FEU with a team foul. It's really one big puzzle, and Marvin Cruz, I see him, quick off the bench because of the rotation problems caused by the 2 personal fouls given up early by Ferrer.
You know, down the road for UE, or UP, rather, their schedule on September 2, Thursday, it's Ateneo. On September 4, it's De La Salle. They will complete their tournament by playing against NU on the 9th. So it's not an easy road looking ahead at the possible shot at the Final Four. They will also have to meet somebody else losing ground also, as we send it to Gretchen Pulido for the report about the Fighting Maroons.
After a record-breaking 4 consecutive winning streak, the hopes of the Fighting Maroons are high. Before the game, Coach Lito Vergara gave a very inspirational speech to his boys. He said that though they may be up against the big fish in today's game, it is not a matter of who they are up against, but what they are as a team. He asked his boys boys to focus on their strengths rather than sizing themselves up against the Tamaraos. After all, they have been very successful with that strategy in the past 4 games. Why let it down now? Lastly, Coach uttered this very motivating phrase that it really pays to win with hard work and hard. Seven, Randy?
Thanks a lot, Gretchen. A traveling violation called against FEU. You know, Randy, you and I have been around this game for quite a while, and you know that the time has come for the motivational ploys and the motivational tactics come into play.
And you have to work on the mind of the players, especially for UP. They have recognized that they can win, and this man, Avi Santos, has really turned things around for UP.
He went against the FEU Trees. However, they get a chance to recycle their offense. 20 seconds on this particular journey. Here's Cruz trying to jab step his way against Miranda. Pulls up, but he is unable to get it to stay down.
Yeah, a very tough matchup we're seeing. Goy Banal putting a very crucial defensive matchup, putting Denok on Cruz and then Santos on Nestor David of UP.
Miranda with a spin move goes to Santos. Unloads the 3. It will not bite. Cruz brings it up. Good cut by Cervantes, who get it to crawl inside.
You know, I think Jovim will have a tough time against Cervantes because Cervantes has played with a lot of machismo in his ball game. First foul on Jovim Garcia. Good cut by Cervantes. He got the ball and a foul to boot. And it was bad news for Coach Lito Vergara. Look, just came in. Mark Lito. Here's a nice layup step for Cervantes.
As you said, smart buddy instant replay capturing that golden moment. And the University of the Philippines is ahead 6-2.
UP is really playing very well. The confidence level is different. The last time that we covered them,
sila rin yun pala, no?
yeah, so wala na yung takot step eh. They're very confident of what they can do on the floor right now.
Rizada cuts up the inside. You know, I like the way Rizada has just matured into his role in that position for FEU. Ball game standing at 7-4 in favor of the team from Diliman. David looks inside, starts his move. Defense of FEU is holding. It's holding.
Yep.
Ganda nung pagbasa nung offensive set na Santos. Catch the two. Lito Vergara asking the official if there was anything wrong, but I think he'll have to look closer to home because he'll check with what's wrong with his team right now. They have lost the early momentum, and FEU has hit back-to-back hits. Timeout. At 7-6, UP with the early lead. Former PBA Commissioner Jun Bernardino. Boy, Manong Hibok has lost a lot of weight.
It looks okay.
Back to his playing weight when he was playing for UP. Milo fast break on your picture. He has a nice story. He shifted to point guard. He was originally a forward. He decided to be a point guard because he felt that the announcers would mention the point guard more often than anybody else.
Well, he was the original man on the ball.
Yes, indeed. For the meantime, 7-6 count. By the way, if you're interested, you know, FEU is interested in hitting back-to-back. They want to do that. Well, they've done that before in the past. As you check out this Milo Wafer matchup or Anytime Anywhere Energy, grab a bar now. FEU has done it twice. In fact, there was one stretch wherein they won it 3 straight times, 79, 80, and 81. And now you're the historian of the group. Sino ba yung player nung 91, 92? It was the Abarrientos year.
Yes, it was the controversial year when FEU took the championship away from LaSalle.
That was that year.
That was the year. Well, of course, FEU said there was no fluke because the following year they made it back-to-back.
Yes, exactly. And they had some stretches during 72 and 73 as a back-to-back champion as well.
Yeah. You know, FEU is just using its size to dominate UP after
Which we expected. No choice eh. No, kailangan gamitin, titinginan na nila eh. Ang habol niya ng Ateneo at saka ng FEU, makuha talaga yung 1 and 2.
Yep. Because, you know, you don't want to be number 3 after leading the league for the longest time possible. And, you know, may disgrasya.
If the Final Four were to be played, you know, today, it would be 1-4-2-3. As you get to know Jire Ibanez, Ateneo would play possibly UE, and FEU would play De La Salle.
Yes, and for the teams, they're looking at, well, for UE and LaSalle, they have some hope actually, Seth, because 4 games remaining for FEU. Of course, they will pray that FEU or Ateneo or both of them would lose the remaining 4 games, and then they will have an inside track. But of course, that's very difficult to happen. But it is possible. It is possible.
Interestingly enough, the remaining schedule of FEU involves them playing MU on Thursday, September 2. Then they have on Sunday USD, and their last game is against Ateneo, the team that also beat them in the first round. Miranda and company. UP in the lead by 1. Another critical game in the mix of things for UAAP season 67. A foul has been observed by the officials.
That could be on Nestor David. You know, that's a very difficult matchup for him. That's number 1 on David. And
you can expect UP to use a lot of their fouls today, so just because of the size of FEU.
well, they have to make the proper adjustments. Koy Banal has been using his bench. Given Chan, Isip, and now Cutler some time. As you look at Jed Cutler coming in for the first time.
And we've seen Koy Banal go more and more to his bench, stretching the number of players he has used. In the meantime, the referee making sure that everything is span. And our score, 9-8, 4:19 to go here in the opening quarter. Santos, Cutler, Egypt is asking for it. It's the offensive unit for FEU on the hardwood right now. Touch passing by the Tamaraws. Santos still has it. It's lost, it's regained. The turnaround shot, it'll bounce up, and there was Egypt to the rescue.
Well, you really have to do a good boxing out against FEU. They've got tall guys on you, and Abi Santos wasn't able to feel his man, allowing Egypt to make his first 2 points.
As Randy pointed out earlier, 19 points by Mark Egypt in the first battle between these two sides, won by FEU. We have a foul in that last play, whistled against Cutler, number 1. And already, it is 14 fouls against FEU, same number for the Fighting Maroons.
Well, Toti Almeida, he's a top scorer for UP. They look up to him for the points, and as always, it's like, it's almost the end of the game for Toti Almeida. Look at the hairdo, Sam. It's just first quarter.
Probably one of those great Almeida players, Ato Badolato.
Well, Kenneth Robin will definitely play a good part,
they almost wrecked our lights earlier in the round robin, huh?
Yes.
I told them they wouldn't look good on TV if they continued to throw the ball at our lights. This is our feeble attempt to look better, but our makeup artist just does a great job, I tell you.
Game after game after game.
Game after game.
Mommy has done a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
Making us look better.
Look human. 11-10.
Oh, that's right.
And by the way, a footnote, you and I, when we get together, you and I are the professors here, because there's a bit of a footnote. FEU has won 5 straight over UP, dating back to August 23, 2001. The last time it happened that UP won against FEU, it was 71-64 at the Blue Eagle Gym. The Maroons came back from 20 points down in the 3rd quarter, and listen to this, Ryan Gregorio, you were ejected late in the 4th quarter in that game.
Well, I haven't seen Ryan on the floor right now, or in the Coliseum.
And UP jumps to a 3-point lead, and maybe they want to replay history in that big win they had 5 games ago. In the meantime, that turnaround shot as we move into this timeout. Nagpapalik po ang UAAP, and we got some special guests.
That's Jenkin Vicina. He played for UP and was transferred back to San Beda. Hey, Cesar Catley.
Again, I asked the question, what is it about hats and baseball players? And basketball players, that is. Baseball players, yes.
Yeah, well, there's supposed to be a function, but it adds to the form, diba? That's why it extends, so you take away the sunshine from your eyes. But magandang tingnan.
Okay, you're now a fashion consultant. I noticed. You have improved. You kanina makeup and fashion. 13-10. Score 3:05 remaining. Sacramento with Professor Randy Sandala. We've got Jamal Dalton for FEU and Gretchen Pulido taking care of the UP bench. Turnaround by Egypt, knocks it in.
He always starts strong against UP, and I think he's very confident that he can take on Abi Santos or either Nestor David.
He feels nobody on UP can take him, really.
Yes.
2:40 to go in this opening quarter. The flow of the traffic has been dictated more or less by by UP, but not without a swift response from the Tamaraws. A turnaround shot goes nowhere and a chance for FEU to really get the lead. They have led only once in the ballgame, way back in 8-7. Chan fires the 17-footer, a bit offline, and the rebound is collared by UP. Ibanez taking care of that carry. Bruce clawed by the D. Easy, twirling, spinning, looking for an open man. Cutler the recipient. Shot rolls inside. Easy, one fake, one turn, he's blocked. Bruce does not want to waste the rejection. Waits for the rest of the gang. Jorge Almeida beats inside. Ibanez. Up and that's tomorrow, the billiards.
Yep, tomorrow on Q, I think at the Octagon Hall.
It's Robinson's
Galleria, so...
Great Q artists coming together to play for a lot of match prizes.
Then Miranda rested by Boy Banal a minute and 38. And then also Ira Boycott took a look at Vic Mel Epres. Vince Carter is his idol.
Yes, I think he had that big game against De La Salle, remember?
Yep, he couldn't miss from three-point country, and then he was forgotten in the fourth quarter.
Yes, hitting shots from long distance, that's the trend nowadays. Of course, we've seen how it's done internationally.
Yep, and it's really changed the way we look and appreciate basketball all of a sudden.
A minute and 38 remaining. The steal by Ibanez. The ball hawked from the rear and the blind side of Chan, and a traveling violation, and the ball goes back quickly to FEU.
You know, he's struggling. Jaire Ibanez, as far as offense is concerned, he was asked to take some shots. You know, I think his defense normally would shine ahead of his offense for the game of Jaire.
Oh, good point. In the meantime, a lot of shoving, pushing, hatakan for position.
You know, I guess Cruz is meeting Jed Cutler, you know, very recently. He didn't play also in that game when they lost to FEU. So he and Kenneth Robbins didn't play, and they're really plus factors going to this game against FEU.
Rita Vergara reminding his troops, use your coconuts, so to speak. He's pointing to his forehead. Easy, bobs it. Great attack to the basket.
You know, De La Cruz. First 2 points for him. More importantly, FEU takes the driver's seat with a minute and 17 remaining.
Let's see if UP can regain the advantage. Epres. Ibanez. Handoff. Cruz lobs the left-handed shot. Rebound struggled for. Won by Cutler. First rebound of the game. Chan looking inside. Mangas in the ball game. Chan sends it diagonally to Cutler as the shot clock trips down to 8. Mangas is clobbered actually, but he keeps his wits about it, misses the shot. About 34 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Well played by both sides. Cruz does not want to force a pass inside. But look at the D of FEU. Cruz, 6 on the shot clock, shoots falling away. No real posture to put up the shot cleanly.
Very difficult to penetrate the defense of FEU. They'll give you the poorest shot that you can take.
Good point. Here's Mangas. Checks the interior. Sends it outside to Cutler for a 3. It skirts away.